The first people to live on another planet won't be living in comfort. They'll spend years sealed in a steel cylinder, drinking recycled sweat, sharing air with 20 strangers, and sleeping beside walls that separate them from a vacuum colder than death. This is life inside SpaceX's Starship, humanity's first real step towards becoming an interplanetary species. And the truth is, it's not as glamorous as you'd hope. For 6 decades, the word spaceship has been a lie. Every craft we've ever launched, Apollo, Soyuz, Dragon, have been metal cans barely big enough to crawl into. Even NASA's latest Orion capsule doesn't let you stand upright. Our best attempt so far, the Space Shuttle, was still more garage than home. Then came SpaceX, and Elon Musk's idea of building an actual ship. A reusable rocket that could launch, land, refuel, and go again. A 50-meter tall stainless steel tower with the capacity to carry 100 people to another planet. The Starship. At first, it looked almost utopian. Massive windows, open decks, over 1,000 cubic meters of space. The promise sounded like a sci-fi cruise to Mars. But the moment SpaceX started flying prototypes, that fantasy collided with physics. The early tests were rough. Starships exploded, flipped, crashed, and burned. To survive re-entry, engineers had to rethink the design from nose to tail. One major change was the relocation of landing fuel tanks. They used to sit at the bottom, but during the ship's landing flip, that made the rocket unstable, so engineers moved the small header tanks up into the nose cone. Great for stability, terrible for crew comfort. That meant the top, once planned for gigantic panoramic windows, became off-limits. No luxury lounge, just fuel. Then came Starship V2 in 2025. Taller by about 2 meters, but with less internal space. Why? Because the main fuel tanks were extended upwards into the crew area. That gave Starship enough propellant to carry itself and 100 tons of cargo to orbit, but cut living space to about 500 cubic meters. Half of what SpaceX originally promised, yet still a lot. For comparison, the entire International Space Station, home to 7 astronauts, has 900 cubic meters, so Starship is smaller, but not by much. Still, NASA's own research says that for a 2.5-year mission to Mars, each person needs at least 25 cubic meters to stay sane. That means, at most, 20 people can share one ship. Any more, and you risk chaos. Of course, Elon has said it can take 100. Technically, yes, but picture a long-haul flight that never lands, for 8 months at a time. That's not exploration, that's punishment. So SpaceX went bigger again. Starship V3, the long ship, now 69 meters tall, adding about 17 meters of length. Even with bigger tanks, this version brings the total back to roughly 1,000 cubic meters, enough to build something that might finally feel livable. So let's step inside. Well, we'll start from the bottom and move up. Level 1, the cargo bay and airlock. This is where survival begins. It's the workroom, garage, and front door all in one. You'll find the circular airlock lined with EVA suits, exploration gear, and mobility tools. Below that, our large unpressurized cargo bay holds rovers, equipment, and the elevator, the only way to get down when you land on Mars, since the door sits 10 stories above the ground. It's all metal, cables, and noise. No windows, no comfort. Level 2, storage and systems. Move up 1 floor and you hit the ship's basement. This is where the heavy systems live. Water tanks, oxygen recyclers, and food storage. Everything heavy sits low to stabilize landings. Water is the hardest problem. A 10-person crew would need about 27 metric tons for a full journey. Impossible. So Starship will recycle nearly everything. Just like the ISS, it will reclaim 93% of all water, even from urine and waste moisture. Yes, that means astronauts drink recycled pee. It's disgusting to hear, but no one complains after a few weeks. Level 3, hygiene and gym. No showers, no running water, just cleaning wipes and dry shampoo. SpaceX is designing small rectangular pods for toilets and washing, lined along the outer wall, and right beside them, the gym. Every astronaut must work out 2 hours a day to fight muscle and bone loss. Expect stationary bikes, strap-on treadmills, and resistance machines using vacuum cylinders instead of weights. It's sweaty, loud, and absolutely necessary. Level 4, crew cabins. Finally, personal space, or at least something that feels like it. After installing floors and systems, the remaining space is around 600 cubic meters. That's the size of a large house. Each crew member gets a small sleeping pod. Think Japanese capsule hotel. Tiny, private, and just enough for a sleeping bag, a tablet, and a photo from home. Lights inside will simulate day and night to fight insomnia. With 20 bunks arranged around the wall, privacy is a rare commodity. But in deep space, silence is a luxury. Level 5, Mess Hall and Greenhouse. This is where the crew eats, talks, and tries to stay human. Food comes in vacuum-sealed pouches. To cook, you inject hot water, wait, and hope it tastes okay. NASA astronauts have managed pizza, so maybe Mars crews will too. SpaceX might include a small hydroponic garden here. NASA already grows lettuce in zero gravity, and it works. So imagine a few trays of leafy greens providing something fresh to eat. In the middle of endless beige meals, that bowl of lettuce might mean everything. Level 6, Lounge and Recreation. You can't work non-stop for 3 years. This level gives the crew a little room to breathe. A wide, circular lounge with windows, or at least screens showing the outside view. Maybe a TV wall, a few floating couches, some VR headsets. It's not luxury, it's therapy. When you can't step outside, even fake sunlight feels real enough. Level 7, Workspace. This floor is for focus. Offices, research stations, maybe a small lab. The crew will run experiments, monitor the ship, and maintain systems. And they'll need hobbies, writing, reading, coding, anything to keep the brain occupied, because boredom in space is dangerous. Level 8, the flight deck. At the top sits the command center, the bridge. This is where everyone straps in during launch and landing. SpaceX moved the landing fuel tanks up here, so the control deck sits just below them. It's the safest place during the ship's flip maneuver. If you've made it here after months in space, congratulations, you're about to become a resident of Mars. So, what's a typical day like on the Starship? You wake up to dim lights simulating sunrise. A computer hum fills the air. That's the oxygen system, always running. No sound of waves or wind, just the low mechanical heartbeat of the ship. You check in on water levels, exercise for 2 hours, wipe yourself down, and float to breakfast. A pouch of scrambled eggs that never needed a chicken. You chat, work, eat, float some more, watch old videos from Earth. In the evenings, maybe you join a VR movie night, or talk to your family, though talk might be generous, because by halfway to Mars, messages take 10 minutes to travel one way. That's a 20-minute delay for a single reply. You send a joke, they laugh 20 minutes later. The loneliness isn't immediate, it creeps up. Astronauts on the ISS can call home in real time. Starship crews won't have that. They'll be the most isolated humans in history. Their only comfort will be each other, and the hope that the red dot outside their window gets bigger every day. Powering Starship isn't simple either. Solar energy is the first option, but solar panels lose efficiency the further you go from the sun. The ISS has massive wings, 8 arrays, each over 100 feet long. Starship can't carry that much surface area. One option is to attach large solar modules in orbit before departure, or use fold-out panels during the trip. Another is batteries. Tesla Powerwalls, each holding 13 kilowatt-hours. They could power the ship for short periods and recharge using solar arrays once on Mars. But they're heavy, 250 pounds each. The third idea, hydrogen fuel cells. They create electricity and water at the same time. Hydrogen is light, efficient, and already proven in cars. It's the most likely backup system for Starship's life support. So, between the sun, batteries, and fuel cells, the lights stay on, the air stays breathable, and the crew keeps going, through months of silence and cosmic radiation. 8 months after launch, the view outside changes. The red planet fills the window. Thin atmosphere, orange dust, ancient canyons. It's beautiful and terrifying. The ship begins its descent. Inside, 20 people strap into their pods, holding their breath as Starship performs its famous belly flop maneuver. The engines roar, the nose swings upright. Everyone feels the pull of gravity again for the first time in months. Then, a soft thud. Silence. they've landed. When the elevator lowers and boots touch the Martian surface, those 20 people become something new, the first residents of another world. They'll live inside their starship for months, maybe years, while helping build the first outpost, Elon's vision of a Mars city. They'll eat dehydrated food, breathe filtered air, and recycle every drop of water they use. But when they look up and see Earth as a bright blue dot in the sky, they'll know what they've done. For the first time in human history, we've built a home beyond home. So what will life inside SpaceX's Starship really be like? Claustrophobic, uncomfortable, unforgiving, but it'll also be extraordinary. Every screw, every bolt, every recycled sip of water represents progress, the first steps in making humanity multiplanetary. It's not paradise, it's not science fiction, it's real, and if it works, it'll change everything. That's the inside story of SpaceX's Starship, the vessel that can turn humans into a spacefaring species. Would you do it? Would you sign up to spend years inside this ship for a chance to walk on Mars? Tell us below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from the frontiers of space and technology. We post every week, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.